So we had a couple of backhand lessons, and I'm just going to repeat some of the things that we talked about then because I still see some of those mistakes. First, you still have that little bit of a hitch here. Where you're going here, and there's a little bit of a hitch, so it's not a flowing movement. When you set up, just set up really strong like this. You know, extend your right arm a little bit more like this. Extend here. Feel a little bit more of a pressure on your shoulder blade. Chin's going to be over your shoulder as you're preparing your racket. And then on the other end, you want to make sure that the elbows go up and that you rotate all the way. Kind of like the things that we did the last time you were here. We were on this court. So a good preparation, a good finish. And we got to try to get rid of that little hitch that you have. So go down the line right now. Here we go. Good. And again. Come. Again. Okay. Go again. Bremen, remember we talked about like go ahead and go in your backhand and take a swing. Take a swing. Remember we talked about this? Like your elbows are still pointing forward here. There's something you have to continue to work on. Like you have to get this at the end. So what happens a lot of times is, this is generally for all your strokes, is that the body is not that involved. So you're swinging a lot with the arm and you're not helping the arm with the body. So on your backhand, a lot of times it's you take your racket back and you're just going like this. You're just lifting the arms up and the upper body is really not rotating that much. So remember, you go here to here. Get the elbow to go a little bit further back. And then at the same time in your prep phase, on the other end of the stroke, you want to turn a little bit more this way. So you turn more this way and then you turn more this way. So overall, more rotation of the body. Probably the best one you hit so far. That was nice. Good. Good. Now another thing that on the backhand that's not optimal is your swing path. So when I'm seeing this, but when you see it in slow motion, you're going to see it even better. Is the following. Your racket goes here and the racket tip never really goes through this way. It stays on this side and then wraps around your head like this. So you're not getting a lot of range of motion. You're going here to here like this. So the racket does need to come through a little bit here. So go ahead and stand on the baseline. I'm going to show you the swing path. Put your racket at the contact point. Go ahead and turn sideways. Turn sideways. All right, so here's the contact point. So you're more going like this. Okay, so the tip of the racket is always pointing that way on your backhand. Right, so what I like to happen is the following. The tip of the racket is going to go cross and up, but it's going to go through a little bit this way. You see? Okay. Through and then back. Do it again. You go through and up and then back like this. You see this? This. That's the correct swing path on the two-handed backhand. So at one point, the racket, when it's up, it's also pointing in this direction. And then it's going to go back. So yours is more pointing this way the whole time. Okay. So you're getting less force through the ball. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. No, so you can practice this dry if you want, but let me show you again. It's this, this, this. Here. Let me show you one more time. You go here, here, here. That's the backhand swing path. This, this, this. Yours is more going like this often, like this. That's also sometimes a result of too little body involvement. The arms are working in isolation where you're not really using the rotation that much and you're just swinging like this. This can happen naturally when you're just lifting the elbows up. See, the racket really doesn't go through, it just kind of scoops up on the ball this way. So with rotation, this is going to be a little bit more natural progression, okay? Better. Okay, let me hand feed it right next to you. We're gonna take it back a step. Go right here in the middle. Come. You feel tight? Yeah. And don't push on the ball. Like like this zone right here when you're making contact. This is what I want you to understand. So from here to here, the racket should not go through. Okay. So in other words, you shouldn't go in this direction with your racket. The racket needs to go across. That's important. The racket head goes through, but this part right here, your hand, goes across. So you're going like this. This is the important thing that you have to understand. You don't want to go like this here and then up. You're going immediately across. Watch. Immediately across, but the racket head goes through the ball. You see this? This is the movement. So you have to focus when you're hitting to get this right here. It's almost like in the gym, right? If you have a cable, you know those cable exercises, and you're going like this. You're pulling that cable across the body this way, like this. That was a little thin. Come again. That was a little bit thin again. Better. Another one, come. Better. Again. Okay, come on. Across the body. That was maybe the best one you hit so far. Okay, let me feed you some more to the side. You focus on the same thing. It's an across movement. It's a circular swing path. But the thing on the two-handed backhand, because we're using two hands, it's going to be naturally more flat. So the racket head is going to go through the ball more. It's going vertically up and across, but it's going through. Does that confusing, or does it make sense? So you go this. See this right here? This. This right here, as opposed to here, or as opposed to here where it's too thin. Like that. Good. Better. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, how did that feel towards the end? Better?
It was coming naturally.
It was coming better, right?
I was feeling better.
Yeah, it looked a lot better towards the end. One thing I will say, when you get a ball that's a little bit higher on your backhand, it's going to be more unnatural to go up with the elbows. It's going to be more natural to have this right elbow down. So when the ball gets above your chest height, when it's between your chest and your head, and you're taking backhands up here, now it's going to be more natural to keep this elbow down and swing like this. So what I'm telling you to do applies to balls that are between your chest and lower.
Okay.
Now, interestingly, when the ball is below the waist, there it also becomes a little bit more tricky to go up. You might have to shorten your finish a little bit. So the ideal strike point on any shot, but especially the backhand, is between the waist and the chest. And there is going to be super beneficial to get those elbows not only as high as possible, but also as far back as possible, so you can utilize more torso rotation.
In my head, I'm trying to go as far as I can with the swing that you said, but I'm tight, you know, like it doesn't really go there, you know what I mean?
Oh, you feel tight with your muscles?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying, but it doesn't really go there.
You look bigger than the last time I saw you. You've been training a lot?
No, not really.
You're looking stronger.
Not really.
Look, you do whatever you can as far as you.
I feel better as long as I'm trying. Because what happens when I'm playing most of the times?
Okay.
The same problem you had a play Emma in someone.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
You said that she doesn't finish, and sometimes I feel the same way. I stop here, you know.
That's true. But the difference between your backhand and Macy's backhand is that Macy will sometimes stop here, but her racket path is correct. She goes here. What I was pointing out today is that sometimes your racket string, that you're going very thin on the ball like this. So you're just going over the ball. You're not going through it enough, and you're hitting the ball too thin.
I know.
So you're going like this. You have to go more like this.
On the net, even when I'm playing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put topspin, and then it doesn't even have the, to pass.
Right.
I understand what you're saying.
I wouldn't worry too much about topspin on the two-handed backhand. It's going to naturally have some topspin if you go low to high, but it's not going to be as easy to generate heavy topspin on the two-handed backhand compared to your forehand, just because we have two hands on the racket and we have some limitations because of that.